Today, Saturday, the 29th of March 2025, we have some hand-picked match prediction to share with you, which of course will be backed up by some stats and analytics to help you make your picks in this list to boost your winning by a greater percent. And to those of you who want to have access to our top-notch match prediction classes, as well as our best hand-picked games we share to members only, then you want to make sure to become a member of the Level 2 Pro plan or the Level 3 Master plan to have access to these features to take your winning to the next level. To those of you who want to join, the link is below this video. You want to make sure that you follow that link, navigate and join to become a member to have access to these features. So without wasting time, let's proceed with the first game of our today's list. But before we proceed, we want to say congratulations based on yesterday's event for registered wins. And of course, since today is Saturday, we have a lot of games to share with you. I will not want to go directly to share all the games for yesterday, for this video is going to be very long. So I will just go directly with the games we have for you today. And also to members, to those of you who have joined the membership package plan, your own match prediction is separate from this one. Of course, we have a total of 20 plus games we have shared with you as our best pick, which of course, you want to make sure that you look at between your 5 to 10 odds in that list to boost your winning. So you want to make sure that you check the membership package section in the home tab of our channel. You are going to see all the match prediction we share to members only. Yesterday, we shared a huge amount of games. So today, we still have a total of 20 plus games we are going to be sharing with you, to those of you who are members. So you want to make sure you take advantage of this package plan to become a member of the Level 2 Pro plan, so that you are only going to be having access to our refined pick and the best to take your winning to the next height. So that being said, let's proceed with the first event of our today's list. But before we proceed, I have a quick announcement to make. If you come here to the front page of our channel, you are going to see that we provide match prediction to members only. If you come to the home tab section here, we have all the events we share to members only. You can see match prediction in terms of goals probability. We have just recently shared 13 games, which we are still upcoming. We are going to upload the 22 plus event games, which will be shared again here on this area on the home tab. So you want to become a member to have access to those features. We also shared upcoming top picks predictions to members only, match prediction in terms of goals, wins, and corner kicks, which we give to our members only. So you want to make sure that you take advantage of this feature by subscribing to the Level 2 Pro membership package plan or the Level 3 Master to have access to these features to take your winning to the next height. Also, if you become a member of the Level 2 Pro plan, you're also going to have access to the Level 2 Pro classes. The Level 2 Pro classes will enable you to have some top-notch video tutorial classes like the live match corner kick strategy being reviewed, the simple trick to make consistent win, never seen match prediction strategy explained step by step, and of course the straight win and comeback soccer prediction strategy being explained, tactical straight win and 2.5 goal strategy for you, as well as a 99% win rate for members only. Once you become a member, also you're going to have access to all of these tutorials in one place, and you can as well start to take your winning to the next high following the tutorials we have explained in this top-notch tutorial. But if you become a member of the Level 3 Master, you're going to have access to the Level 3 Master classes that will make you to become Master, and you are going to have access to the excellent corner kick strategy we have revealed, the top secret AI tool we use to find games in terms of straight wins and goal probability. Also, you have a game changer corner kick strategy we have revealed, showing the top secret website we use to find corner kick events to include in your sleep. Also, 6 amazing AI tools we use, match prediction strategy, home and away, step by step being explained, and 2.5 goal strategy to beat the bookies and win even more. So once you become a member of the Level 3 Master, you have access to all these master classes tutorial and start taking your winning to the next height. So whatever level you choose, you are going to have access to the top-notch tutorials. So that being said, let's now look at the first game of our today's list. Looking at the first event, we are looking at Spain in the La Liga. We want to look at Real Madrid against Leganes. In this event, of course, the performance in terms of the recent event they have had, looking at Real Madrid, the performance of Real Madrid at home in recent event they have proved that they are very good. You can see in the La Liga, they have 2 goals to prove that they are very good. Also in the Champions League they recently had, where their performance was astonishing. But looking at Leganes, that's Leganes, on the other hand, the defensive line is not good. They concede too much number of goals. And with the high offense of Real in recent form, we are looking at it to have advantage over the away. Looking at the stand performance in terms of the recent event they have had, the form of the home, Real Madrid have proved to be very offensive. They have recently had 5 games, having 4 wins, scoring 13 and conceding 5. They have a good offense with a good defense, but that of Leganes, the other hand, have proved that the defensive line is not good. They sit right here in the 17th place, conceding 8 goals in 5 games played to give advantage of the home team to take advantage of this weak defense. So in other words, we want to look at 2 major picks here in full time. For this particular event, we are looking at Real Madrid to have the upper hand to lead in full time as one of the major picks, as well as the possibility of at least 1.5 goal to occur in this match in full time is our major pick. Looking at the next, we are looking at Guatemala in the Liga de Nacional. We are looking at Malacateco against Deportivo Achupa in this event. The performance of Malacateco have proved to be very offensive. The recent event they have had recently, this same year, recently, they scored 4 goals, 1 goal, 5 goals. That's a very high offense. That of its opponent, on the other hand, have proved that the defensive line is not very tight, looking at the home to take advantage of this defense that is not very tight. Looking at the recent stance in terms of the recent event they've had by their form, by the home, they tend to lead this table. They've had 5 games played, all the 5 wins, scoring 13 and conceding 4. That's a very great offense at home, but that of the away in terms of the recent event they've had have proved that the defensive line of the away sits right here in the position, which proves that the defensive line is not good, conceding 7 in 5 games played with 6 goals scored, making the home to have advantage over the away. As a result, we want to look at 2 major picks here in full time. For this particular event, the performance of the home is better at home, so we're looking at it to either lead in full time or to give it a double chance, as well as the possibility of at least 1.5 goal here in full time. So 2 major picks: 1, the home to lead; 2, at least 1.5 goal in full time for this particular event, or to give the home a double chance. Looking at the next, we looked at India in the I-League. We're looking at Lajong against Aizawl. In this event, the performance of the home, Lajong, in recent event they have had proved that they are very offensive, scoring 4 goals, 3 goals, 5 goals in recent event. The offensive strength recently have proved to be very amazing. Their opponent, Aizawl, on the other hand, have proved that the defensive line is not very tight, and they do score at least much goal as well, 2, 2, and 1 in recent event they have had, as well as 2 goals. Looking at the stand performance in terms of the recent form by the home and away, the performance of these have proved that the home team, Lajong, have proved to be very offensive, especially when they come at home. Looking at it, they've had 5 games played recently with 4 wins, scoring 13, conceding 2. That's a good offense and good defense. But that of its opponent, on the other hand, have proved that the defensive line, as you can see, is not very tight. They have conceded 8 goals in 5 games played, scoring 7. As a result, we want to look at 2 major picks here in full time. For this particular event, everything being put in place, we are looking at the home to lead as one of the major picks, or at least the possibility of 1.5 goal here in full time. Looking at the next pick, we are looking at Czech Republic in the Fortuna League, a match between Ostrava against FK Pardubice. The performance of Ostrava in recent events they've had proved that the offensive trend is very strong, scoring 2-2, as you can see, with a good performance, and also in the club friendly where the performance was great. That of Pardubice, on the other hand, proved that the defensive line is just very, very weak, conceding huge number of goals. For example, the away had a game with Sigma Olugmuk, a loss 4-0, and Templis, a loss against 2, that's 2-0 loss. These same Templis and Olugmuk have also had games, you can see, with Ostrava, where Ostrava lead 2-0 with Templis, and also lead against Sigma Olugmuk 1-0. If Sigma Olugmuk is able to beat the away much number of goals 4-0, then there's still the possibility of Ostrava to beat Pardubice, and also the possibility of goals. Looking at the stand performance in terms of the recent event they've had by the form, the home Ostrava have proved to be very good. Sitting on the 3rd place, they've had 8 goals scored, 3 conceded. Very good defense. And looking at that of the away, the defensive line is not that very tight. If you see the seat right here in the 15th place, they have had just 1 goal scored, conceding 11, giving the upper hand for Ostrava to lead and also goals probability. So want to look at 2 major picks here in full time. For this particular event, we are looking at the home to lead. Also 1.5 goal, 2 goals over in these match predictions in full time is our major pick. Looking at the next here, we are looking at Kuwait in the Premier League. We are looking at Al Kuwait against Al Tadamon. In this event, the performance of Al Kuwait have proved to be very offensive, scoring 5, 3, 6 in recent event they have had. This same here, the offensive strength is very good. Tadamon, on the other hand, concede very much, very weak in the defensive line. And of course, looking at the stand performance in the recent event they've had recently by the form, they have proved that Al Kuwait, in terms of the recent events, lead this table. Sitting on the 1st place, they have had 5 games played recently with 5 wins, scoring 19 and conceding 1. That's a very great offense and defense. But that of its opponent, on the other hand, in terms of the recent game they've had, the defensive line is not very tough. Looking at the home to take advantage of this weak defense, as well as goal probability. So we want to look at two major picks here in full time. For this particular event, we are looking at the home to be the upper hand to lead in full time as one of the major pick, as well as at least 1.5 goals or 2 goals over is our major pick for this particular event. Looking at the next pick, we are looking at Norway in the second division, Group 1. In this event, we are looking at the match between Flekkeroy against Arendal. In this event, the performance of the home team, Flekkeroy, have proved to score a lot of goals as well as concede. You can see 2 goals conceding 5, 3 goals conceding 2 in the CF, that is in the club friendly. In opponent, Arendal, on the other hand, also scored and do concede as well. These two are coming to meet, and since the performance in the club friendly recently have proved that they are very good, we are looking at two major picks here in full time. For this particular event, their performance in the CF, that is club friendly, have proved that they are both amazing. In this gameplay, there will be high shoot on and off target. At least we are looking at 1.5 goal to occur here in full time as our major pick for this particular event. Looking at the next pick, we are looking at Switzerland in the Super League. We are looking at Young Boys against St. Gallen for this event. Young Boys, the home, have proved to be very offensive in the recent event they have had, scoring 3, 1 and 5. The offense is very strong, 6 goals recently. That of St. Gallen, on the other hand, concede very much with a very weak defensive line. And looking at the stand performance in terms of the recent event they have had by the form, the home, Young Boys have proved here that they are very amazing. They sit on the first place on this table. They have had 5 games played recently, having 4 leads, scoring 15 and conceding 2. That's a very high offense and a strong defensive line. But that of its opponent, in terms of the recent event they have had, the defensive line of the opponent, St. Gallen, have proved that they are not very tight in defense. They've had 5 games played, scoring just 3 and conceding 9. The offensive strength is not very great, but the defense is weak. And we therefore want to look at the home to take advantage of that weak defense, and therefore want to look at two major picks here in full time. For this particular gameplay, the home have an upper hand. We looked at it to lead as one of the major picks, as well as since the defense of one side is very weak, we look at least 1.5 going full time or 2 goals over, since they will also want to impress. So goal probability is the next option, 1.5 or 2 goals over, as well as the home to be the upper hand to lead as the major pick. These are our 2 major picks for this particular event. Looking at the next, we look here in the Germany Oberliga Hessen. We are looking at Hanau against Unter-Flockenbach. In this event, Hanau have proved to be very offensive in the recent event they have had. They had 2 games recently at home, scoring 2 and 3, very good offense. But that of its opponent, in the other hand, based on the way game played, have proved that the defensive line is very conceding, taking huge number of goals, 3 and 3 in each event they have had, and also 5 in against Hofinder. Of course, the defensive line is weak. Looking at the stand performance and comparison of these two by the term of the game played they have had by their form recently, of course, the home team have proved that in terms of the form, they stand a better chance. And of course, looking at the stand performance in the recent event they have had for the home game by the form, looking at the position on the table, they sit right here on this position. So Hanau in the 8th position, they've had 5 games played at home, having 9 goals, conceding 8. The defense is not tight and the offense is good. That of its opponent as well, on the other hand, in terms of the recent event they've had, have proved that the away performance of the away, they sit right here in the 17th position with a defensive line that is very weak, conceding 17 goals in just 5 games played, to prove that they are not good in defense. Therefore, look at the home to take advantage of this weak defense, and as well as the way also to impress to cost goal probability. So 2 major picks here in full time. For this particular event, at least 1.5 goal is our major pick or 2 goals over for this particular gameplay. Looking at the next, we looked at Belgium in the Super League women. We are looking at Anderlecht women against Westerlo women. The performance of Anderlecht women in the recent event they've had have proved to be very offensive, scoring 3 goals, 2 goals, and 4 goals in recent event they've had. Very great offense. That of Westerlo, on the other hand, have proved that they are also good in the striking power, and they do concede as well. 2 goals, 5 goals concede, 2 goals scored, 3 goals scored, 2 goals concede, and of course they are coming again with this form to meet in this game tournament. Of course, looking at this, the 21 round based on the form in terms of the recent event they have had, the home team Anderlecht have proved to be very amazing. They sit on the first place. They've had 5 games played at home recently with 4 wins, scoring 14 and conceding 2. That's a very great offense, and also the defense is also very great. But looking at Westerlo, on the other hand, they sit right here on the 6th place with a defensive line that is weak, conceding up to 12 in 5 games played. Anderlecht will take advantage of that weak defense, and since the strike power of Anderlecht is very high, we want to look at 2 major picks here in full time. For this particular event, we'll look at Anderlecht women to take the upper hand to lead as one of the major picks, And also due to its high strike power, we look at 1.5 goal in full time or 2.5 goal as the next pick for this particular event in full time. This is our major pick for this particular gameplay event. Looking at the next, we looked here in the France League 1, Saint Etienne against PSG in this event. Looking at the performance of the way PSG, they have proved to be very offensive in recent event they have had in the League 1 as well as in the CR, that is in the Champions League, where they score a huge number of goals. You can see 2 and 4. And also you can see here against Lajong 3, their offensive strength is very good in the League 1. Looking at Saint Etienne also, they are also good in strike power and they do concede as well very much. Where they had a game against Angers 3-3, they concede 3 goals against that is Nice, and also against Rennes, they concede 2 goals. The conceding strength is very high and want to look at PSG to take advantage of that. Looking at the form performance in terms of the recent event they've had, PSG, the way have proved that they toppled the weight table, sitting on the first place. They've had 5 game play recently, having 5 wins, scoring 15 and conceding 6. That's a very high striking power and good defense. But that of Saint Etienne, based on the home performance, have proved that they sit right here in the 13th place with a defense that is not very tight. They have conceded 10 goals in 5 game played, telling us that PSG will also take advantage of that for the defense. Therefore, want to look at 2 major picks here in full time. For this particular event, we are looking at PSG, the away team, to take advantage of that weak defense of the home to lead as one of the major picks, as well as goal probability will also occur here since the home want to impress as well. So 1.5 goal is the next pick for this event in full time or 2 goals over. Looking here at the next, we looked at Scotland in the Premiership. We are looking at Dundee against Rangers. The performance of Rangers in the recent event they have had in the Premiership have proved to be very offensive, scoring 3 goals, and also in the EL, that is in the Europe League, where they score huge amount of goal against Fenerbahce as well. And also you can see against Guimaraes 4-2, the offensive strength is amazing. That of Dundee, on the other hand, proved that they are not very high in the striking power and they do concede. Looking at the stand performance in terms of this, comparing the form, the way have proved that they are good, sitting on the first place in the away table. They've had 5 game play with 4 wins, scoring 14 and conceding 7. That's a great offense. And looking at that of the home team, of course, the recent performance of the home at home have proved that they sit right here in the 11th place, where the defensive line is not very tight. They have had 13 goals conceded in just 5 game played. And since the offense of the away is very high, we look at 2 major picks here in full time. For this particular event, the away team have a very high offensive strength. And since the home defense is not very tight, we look at the probability of the away to have the upper hand to lead in full time as one of the major pick, as well as the possibility of 1.5 goal in full time is the next pick here in this particular gameplay. These are our 2 major picks for this particular event. Looking at the next here, we want to look at Portugal in the Campeonato de Portugal. We are looking at Vitoria, the Guimaraes against Joane. In this event, Guimaraes have proved also to be very offensive, scoring 3 goals, 1 goal, 2 goals, and 2 goals recently in the gameplay they have had. But that of its opponent have proved that the defensive line is not very tight, so want to look at the home to take advantage of that. The stand performance in terms of the recent event by the form, Guimaraes have proved that they sit on the 2nd place, but they are the highest scoring team here. They've had 5 game played, all the 5 lead at home, scoring 10, conceding 3. That's a great offense and a tight defense. But that of the away in terms of the recent event they've had have proved that they sit right here in the last place with a very defense that is weak, and the offense is very weak. They have not had any goal yet, and of course that's why I want to look at the home team to take advantage of the weak defense. Therefore, want to look at 2 major picks here in full time. For this particular game played, we are looking at the home to have the upper hand with the high offense and weak defense of the away to lead as one of the major pick, as well as just 1.5 goal in full time for this game play. Looking at the next, we looked at Netherlands in the Eerste Divisie. We are looking at Roda against Venlo. In this event, the performance of Roda in recent gameplay they have had proved to be very offensive, scoring 3-2 in recent event. But that of its opponent Venlo, on the other hand, have conceded too much number of goals with a weak defensive line. And looking at the stand performance in terms of the recent gameplay they have had, the form of the home, of course, have proved that they are good. They sit here in the 6th position. They've had 5 game played with 3 lead, scoring 11 and conceding 6. That's a good offense, and the defense is not very tight. And its opponent, on the other hand, also have proved to sit here in the 12th position with a defensive line that is very conceding. They're weak in defense, and looking at everything in place, we want to look at 2 major picks here in full time. For this particular event, we are looking at the home Roda to have advantage, taking advantage of the weak defense of the way to lead in full time as one of the major pick, as well as at least 1.5 goal to occur in this match in full time. And to those of you who want to have access to our top-notch match predictions we have shared to members only, we have shared as our refined game pick predictions based on goals probability, straight wins, and the best occurrence with huge odds to take your winning to the next height, then you want to make sure to subscribe to the Level 2 Pro membership package plan to have access to these features. Once you subscribe, you are going to have access to that video, which is made available to members only. You are going to go there in the home tab section of our channel. Make sure to select that particular game. It is separate from this one, this video we have made and shared to everyone. Of course, we have the refinest match prediction we share to members only. Go there. We have a total of over 50 odd and huge amount of game played on that list. You want to make sure that you find your own 5 odd to 10 odd per list in a slip to boost your winning. Make sure that you go there now. If you are a member already, go to that home tab section, watch that video. We have compressed it. It is not as long as this, just giving you the best picks to include in your slip. You want to edit, go there and find your 5 to 10 odd in a single slip to boost your winning. This is for members only. And to those of you who have not yet joined to become a member, to have benefit from this event, which we share to members only based on our refinest match prediction picks, which other members are taking advantage of it with huge odds to take their winning to the next height, then you also want to make sure to join to become a member of the Level 2 Pro plan or the Level 3 Master plan to have access to these features. To those of you who want to join, the link is below this video. Navigate to that link now, join and become a member and start to have access to top-notch match prediction picks, which are for members only, not general videos like this. You want to have refined picks, which will give to you with huge odds to take your winning to the next height. So good luck and see you again in the next upload, and bye-bye for now.